Hello, Betham. Nice to see you. I can't see you, but it's a salutation. Nice to see you. Nice to be seen. If I'm speaking a little loudly today, I apologize. It's because I was told that my audio hasn't been great in input, and I'd rather be heard a little bit loud and you can turn down the volume than be heard not loud enough. Here we are with a Shabbat video, a little communal update, a Devar Torah that will be related to the communal update, and then a short meditation on a different topic for those who want to stay. The communal update. Wow, it was a pretty incredible week of meetings in the community in terms of our taking next steps in the reopening of our campus to some aspects of communal life. Slowly, baby steps, but importantly. Look for an email early next week with all of this in detail, so don't hold me to any of this because it's still in formulation, but I want you to know that we will be announcing soon that we'll be bringing back to campus Friday night davening outside on Ziering Field, Shabbat morning davening on the field, even when there's no bar bat mitzvah. We've already been doing it when there's a bar bat mitzvah, and there will be happening, as you saw in the email for Pesach, on Yontif, and also soon bringing back daily minyan on the mornings first, inside in the sanctuary, 15 people at the limit. We're doing it inside, because our medical experts say that at that number of people, masked and distant, with a room with such large ceilings, it really is a safe activity. And because Pressman Academy wonderfully is using every square foot of our amazing outdoor campus to host our school. And so we're going to be moving that minyan indoors. In the beginning, we'll see if there's a frenzy of people signing up for these services or if there's holding back. We don't know. We won't know until we offer it. A lot of people in our community have been vaccinated, but that doesn't mean that people are going to yet feel safe gathering in numbers. And we're going to be obviously following local and national guidelines as we continue to make these changes. But it's exciting just to be able to talk about it, and that these things hopefully will be coming soon, and hopefully will only go in one direction at this point, and that we won't face another crushing surge. In the meantime, I encourage you, of course, to stay masked, to be vaccinated as soon as you are eligible, and to keep your distance from people so that we can eventually be close to one another again. It's really exciting to share that part of the update. Okay, now we're Dvar Torah. That's somewhat related to that, but we start in a different place. One of my favorite comics of all time, and he was very active in the 80s, was a comedian by the name of Stephen Wright. Some of you may know him. He was known for his deadpan delivery and saying things with like a childish wonder and silliness, but the way he offered them made it profoundly good humor. You might know him for things like, I used to work in a hydrant factory, but I couldn't park anywhere near the place. I spilled spot remover on my dog, and now he's gone. Haha. I bought some batteries, but they weren't included. I had to buy them again. Those sort of one-line offerings. He had one that I remember, and the visual is so important to the presentation. But you'll forgive me that I'm not going to act the whole thing out. He said he bought a dog. He got a dog, and he named the dog Stay. And so he would say to the dog, "Come here, Stay. Come here, Stay," and the dog would be, "What do I do? Am I coming here or am I staying?" Because the dog, as if the dog understands words, was hearing two simultaneous directions that were contradictory. Come here, stay. Come here, don't come here. Stay, don't stay. With that in mind, I want to give you the obvious connection to Vayikra, right? How could there not be an obvious connection between a dog being called Stay and the first parsha of the book of Leviticus? Okay, Vayikra. We now begin a many-chapter description of the sacrifices, and for this little Dvar Torah, I'm going to speak nothing of the sacrifices. In the Talmud, there's an interesting citation of the opening lines of the book of Vayikra, where it says, Vayikra el Moshe, that God called out to Moshe, lemor, saying. Lemor, the Hebrew word, the infinitive, lemor, is spelled lamed, aleph, mem, resh, lemor, to say, the infinitive. The Talmud imagines, and it does this all the time, where a word is elongated by imagining a letter being doubled in the middle and then being turned into two words. So the Talmud imagines that the aleph of the word lemor is doubled, and that the word both says lemor, to say, and lo amor, do not say. What's the context in which the Talmud says this? It's in Tractate Yoma. It's imagining that Moshe is getting an instruction from God saying, I want you to speak, but I want you to not speak, meaning I only want you to speak when I want you to speak, and I only want you to say the things that I want you to say, and I don't want you to say anything I don't want you to say. Right? A double command. And the Talmud quotes it with respect to our obligation in confidential conversations, even non-personal ones, that we have a halachic, ethical obligation to not tell over something that we've heard until we have been told by the person who told us to tell it, right? Lo amor, lemor. Do not say it, lo amor, lemor, until I tell you to say it. You hear something, it's a juicy piece of gossip, it's not particularly personal. Halacha says you hold on to it until the person who told it to you tells you you can tell it. Lemor, lo amor. Come here, stay. The Or HaChaim, Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, a Moroccan and Italian and ultimately Eretz Yisrael rabbi, says something similar in Parashot that we had a few weeks ago in the 25th chapter of Shmot, where God, again on the word lemor, says to Moshe, do not speak until you are told to speak. Do not speak unless you are told to speak. Speak, Moshe. Don't speak, Moshe. Do we wonder why Moshe had a speech impediment? According to this midrash and this way of reading it, God kept telling Moshe, speak, don't speak. Say, don't say. Say this, don't say that. Speak now, don't speak now. To hear do and don't simultaneously is maddening. As an individual, as a community, as a leader. And right now we are all hearing it. We're being told by our experts, you're being told by your rabbi, your community, do not gather. Gather. Do not gather with people who are not in your family unit. Come to shul Shabbat morning. Do not be indoors unless you absolutely have to. Come back to daily minyan. As our society continues to reopen, we're going to be continuing to live through these come here, stay, do not and do, speak, do not speak moments, trying to figure out what is the exact moment in which we should and what is the exact moment in which we should not. Over the last few days in Daily Minyan and in the conversations that happen on Zoom after the Minyan, we've been having a version of these conversations. Because on the one hand, we are feeling pushed by members of the community, please let us gather back in person when it's safe. And we're also hearing from other members of the community, and sometimes from the same members of the community, don't do it yet. I'm not ready yet. Zoom is comfortable. I'm going to miss the intimacy of Zoom. I'm going to miss seeing all these faces arranged like Brady Bunch faces on my screen right there. I'm going to miss the conversation after davening that can happen on Zoom that should not be happening if we gather in person, because it is still the case that once service is over, we should disperse. Do Zoom services. Don't do Zoom services. Bring us back in person. Don't bring us back in person yet. Allow us to experience the intimacy of sharing prayer with someone next to us in the same room. Do not take away from me the intimacy of seeing someone's face right there up close so that I can see the lines in their eyes. We have gotten so used to this era, and we want this era to be over. And for a while, both of those are going to exist in the same realm, in the same moment, occupying parts of our minds and parts of our souls as we wait and take baby steps, and hopefully with love and respect for one another wherever they happen to be on this trajectory, as we find our way out of this cave and back into a realm where hopefully the instructions and the directions will be more clear. So, as God said to Moshe, speak, don't speak. As the minyan is saying to us, meet in person, do not meet in person yet. As Stephen Wright said to his dog, "Come here, stay. I say to you, I can't wait to see you in person. And I can wait to see you in person until it's safe. But the one thing that I will not equivocate on, where there's only one message, is that it is true. I miss you, and I love you, and I wish you a Shabbat Shalom." And if you do not want to stay for a meditation, then consider this the end of the video. And if you want to continue for the meditation, I invite you to close your eyes. Let some air out, kind of in a greater expression of air than a normal breath. You can even sigh. Just let that catharsis happen without wondering if that feels strange or sounds strange. No one's listening. Those vibrations as the air is coming out feel wonderful. And bring your attention to your breathing, that action you've been doing all day, your entire life. We now do with yet greater intensity and awareness. Experiencing the breath as nourishing, enlivening, awakening, as we draw the very gas into our body that the environment offers us and that our body needs, and that we participate in the exchange by giving back to the environment that which we consider as waste, but which it needs to produce the very oxygen on which we rely. Make sure your belly is supple and soft. Don't hold it up, don't hold it in. Let it take its shape that it wants to take. Make sure your eyes are unclenched, your brow is unfurrowed, your jaw is light and open, your spine is straight and strong, with the rest of you in a lovely sag, allowing gravity to pull you down with no resistance. And in the short meditation, I want you to think of avdut, that Hebrew word which means at the same time slavery, avadim hayinu, and service, worship, that which we owe God. And bring to mind the faces of those with whom you are in an avdut relationship. Whom are you obligated to? To whom goes your fidelity, your fealty, your service? It's not worship, and hopefully it is not slavery, but there are tethers and bindings and anchors and claims attached to us. Do they feel ennobling to you, or confining, or both? And in what way might your own Pharaoh tendencies be crawling out of the crevices and showing themselves in those very relationships? Is there anyone in an avdut relationship with you who ever experiences you as Pharaoh? Not a murderer, not a mass oppressor, but pharaonic in your own way. And let this meditation be a reminder that in those dynamics there is no Moshe, no God as Redeemer, no 10 plagues, just you and seeing yourself as you are and how you ought to be, so that people experience you not in an experience of slavery, but lofty and beautiful service and partnership and mutual and holy obligation. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And again, I say that I miss you, and I love you, and I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.